Hey guys, I just want to check in with you quick, get an email out. We're coming very close to the end of the challenge here. I've spoken with a lot of you on a daily basis that come in to kind of check in. You guys are doing phenomenal. I did have a question come through, and I wanted to address that one because I feel like this one, publicly, I think will have a lot of carryover for the rest of you, all right? Versus like the questions that I've gotten from a lot of you that have been like, hey, how do you feel about this food, that food? So some of those are addressed like a one-on-one basis, but this one I really want to get out to everyone. I'm going to read the question out loud here. It says, can you address maintaining the habits you formed even when those around you aren't? This is actually about 4 questions, so we'll hit each one of them. How to not completely fall off the wagon at the end of the 6 weeks. How to adjust for your losses calorically. You weigh less should you eat less to maintain the loss process, or just lose weight slower and keep calories consistent, or something else. So let's hit these one at a time. Let's start with maintaining the habits you formed even when those around you aren't. So John loves this acronym, and he tells us this a lot, and it's super true. It's BIG, and those are the 3 things that influence you and everything in life the most. So B is the books we read. Okay, so if we're not educating ourselves on things, let's keep this nutrition based. If we're not educating ourselves on nutrition and constantly learning about what happens in the body when we eat things, learning about what macronutrients are, you don't have to get into the biology of it. You don't have to get into like, hey, what's the chemical construct of protein and things like that and what happens physically in the body, but you should have a pretty good handle on why you eat protein and what protein's role is. So the books you read or articles you read or podcasts you listen to should help influence you in that way, to help educate you, so that way if, you know, spouse, brother, sister, husband, whatever, parents are eating a certain way and not the way that you want to eat, you have a little bit more ground to stick to your guns and do what you know is right for you, because you've got some basis and education behind that. Okay, and it's not just, well, I know I should. Well, why should you? So educate yourself in that. So that's influence. So those are the people that influence you. You are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So realistically, you've got 1 or 2 routes that you can go, to put it bluntly. You can either stop hanging out with people, if it's friends or coworkers, that are not eating the way you want to eat and negatively influencing you, and maybe go hang out with people that are eating the way you want to eat. That's why a lot of you come in here. Or you can try to change their habits. Okay, maybe get them to see your way. Maybe kind of do it in a constructive way. Be like, hey, listen, I've done this challenge. I did phenomenal. Check out this piece of paper, this InBody, right? I lost all this pounds of body fat. I gained pounds of muscle. I feel great. I'd love for you to do the same thing. Let me help you. Let's continue on this path together. Let me touch real quick on, people love to, and I know I hear this story a lot with coworkers, people love to kind of make you feel bad about eating good, right? You're never going to go into the office cafeteria and you're never going to be like, cake again. You know, you're never going to do anything like that, because somebody gets so bent out of shape. They'd be like, oh man, you're picking on me. That's judgment, lawsuit, right? That's what happens in 2017, right? Nobody can take a joke. Okay, so you can't go and be like, Susan, should you really be eating muffins? You can't say that to Susan, but Susan can say to you, salad again? What are you, one of those health freaks? She can say that, and that's okay. But you want to know why? I've got a theory on why this happens. It's because they want to be devil's advocate, and they want to feel better about eating those muffins or those cake or whatever it is, because if, you know, Johnny the health nut or Frank is in phenomenal shape, eats these things, then, and Tim's trying to get him to eat cake, he's like, well, if Johnny the health nut eats cake, then I can too, then it's okay. But rather, it exposes the things that they knew that they are doing wrong for themselves. They go to the lunchroom every day and they're having cake for dessert every day, and they're 30 pounds overweight. Well, guess what? They didn't really have to think about it too much until they see the person that's super fit drinking water and eating sail with a whole bunch of shredded chicken on top. Now all of a sudden they're conscious and aware of the fact that the choices that they make are not the best, and it makes them feel bad, and they'll lash out in anger at you or frustration or whatever, and be like, hey, eating a salad again? That must make you sad, huh? No, you know what makes me sad? Being super overweight and out of shape. Okay, so you know what makes me happy? Eating things that get me closer to my goals. So that's real quick on finding people that influence you a little bit better and spending more time with them. I think I'm going to break this video up into a couple different videos. So I've got a couple more questions on here, but I'm going to call it there. with sticking with this first question on how do you maintain habits when people around you don't? So those are my biggest things. Either change the people that are around you or change their habits is a great one, or learn a little bit more about why you're sticking to your habits. Or let's hit the last one. So we got BIG, that's books you read, the influence, the 5 people around you, and the G is the goals you set for yourself. Have a goal, write it down, and be able to see it every single day. Write it down, put it on the fridge, put it in a planner, put Post-its on the dashboard of your car if you hit drive-thrus when you're having a moment of weakness or whatever, right? That way, like, is it Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's, or is it take a look down here and be like, oh, you know what, I should probably stick to my goals. Another one is have that be the only thing you can do, okay? So I do that for myself. I eat meat, vegetables, good quality food, good quality fats, and if I can't get to those things, I don't eat. Right? And if all of a sudden I come to work at the gym and I've got to go 4 or 5 hours without eating, you better damn well be sure that I'm bringing food next time and I'm going to prepare it, because that's the consequence. It's not, hey, you know what, I didn't bring food, you know what, fine, you know what, I'm just going to hit, we don't have a vending machine, but, you know, like, shoot down to the gas station and get something super crappy for me, get a slice of pizza just because I need to eat. You know what, I don't eat. And then all of a sudden I learned from that. Now, hey, you know what, whatever, I got calories in me, that's always an option. If it's not an option, if the only option you have for yourself is either eat the things you're supposed to eat, or the consequences is you don't get to eat, then you're going to make sure you have the things you're supposed to eat. So those are some little ways that I have. I'll reach out to some of the other coaches and we'll get some more insight into that. I've got a few more questions on this email, but I'm going to cut it into some different videos because we're already coming up on 7 minutes here. And those of you who know me know that I hate to talk, so that's much too long for me to talk for today. I'm going to leave it there. Keep the questions coming. Expect answers to the other 2 questions, and I'll remind you what those were. How to not completely fall off the wagon at the end of the 6 weeks. You're going to hear some similar answers and responses to that one. How to adjust for your losses calorically. You weigh less. Should you eat less to maintain the loss process, or just lose weight slower and keep the calories consistent? So their question is, hey, if we based a lot of our food off of our body weight, now I weigh less, should I change things? So I'm going to address that in an upcoming video. Keep an eye out for that tomorrow, and keep the questions coming, guys. Keep killing it.